Friday the 25th of July. Do you remember 2 or 3 weeks ago when I reported upon an air ambulance landing in the sports field over there, and then a couple of minutes later saw 3 paramedics running down the street past my house over there? Well, according to Keith, that was actually for my friend Marina, and she'd been beaten up by a neighbour. So she was taken to a hospital in London. So, because they went to the end of the street to the Kentucky Fried Chicken, apparently they went the wrong way, because according to Keith, she lives in the side road. So, according to him and what I'm saying, the paramedics went in the wrong direction. So this is Marina's plot here, and okay, she's a bit of a hoarder. She does like her wood chips as well, though, although there's not many places in the ground where there are any wood chips. So she gets annoyed with her neighbour Brian here because he never cuts the grass, because it's like 50% of one, 50% of the other. So you see, like down the side here, it hasn't been cut. But the site rep, she spoke to Brian a few weeks ago, and he did actually cut his grass and he weeded his plot, because normally he's got like loads of weeds there. He just lets them grow amongst the potatoes and whatever. But he has been doing some weeding this year, but the grass needs cutting again. And the reason there's all these weeds in the lawn here is Marina put carpet down here. So it's probably killed the grass off, because because she's like me, she doesn't have much in terms of technology, and like she's Ukrainian and she spends all her money on the war effort, or sending things to Ukraine. So she was telling me that like last winter she didn't actually have the heating on in her house. So that's what the situation is with Marina. So because I think on Monday I'll cut the grass for her, but it's a very, very difficult to actually work out what else to do. I suppose I could try weeding the strawberries, but that's why I don't have strawberries. Weeding strawberries is like, it's one of those things, you do it and they still look ugly. So I don't actually have strawberries on my plot, but I could have a go at getting rid of the bindweed or something. I gave her some pumpkins a couple of months ago because she said she wanted the ground cover, because she wasn't buying any seeds this year. But the pumpkins that I saw yesterday or the day before, when I was being nosy, they're not actually planted in the ground, so I can't really see how that counts as ground cover. So they're sort of like in the pots there. But like with all the containers here, because of the clay soil, and you see you put in wood chip elsewhere, but I'm not quite sure what I can do to help here. But I'll have a go at the bindweed, because we all know what bindweed looks like. Here we go, look. It's growing all over this as well. So maybe I'll have a go at that on Monday morning as well. Okay, so that's Marina. Let's get back to our plot. So over the last week or two, I have actually been doing quite a bit of work on it, but I don't know whether there's not really much transformation because the only things I've really planted out are those peppers down there. So I did these tomatoes about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and those tomatoes were about 3 weeks ago as well. Oh look, right, there's a story about why there's all these flies here. So what I have been doing, I dug this here, and this has been covered with the conifer mulch, and then I dug that trench I was talking about a couple of days ago there, piled up the soil there, and that's got wood chip on. So I've been doing lots of wood chip journeys, but the reason that there's all these flies on my pumpkin is this here. So this smells a bit. So this is from Dave and Annette over there. So like this morning he said, did I want some rotten compost? So I think this is like being left in a great big tub, and like it's all got waterlogged and smelly. So when I tipped it out onto my plot here, it had loads and loads of flies around it, but it looks like the flies have got bored of this pile there, and they like sunbathing on the pumpkin instead. I wouldn't have thought they'd be able to dig holes in it, would they? Right, I measured the circumference of this pumpkin again this morning, and it was 42.5 inches. So I did it either yesterday or the day before, and it was 40 inches. So we'll say it's gaining about an inch a day. But the thing is, I might not have measured it very well. So these grass cuttings, these also came from Dave over there. He was cutting the grass paths this morning. So I put some amongst as mulch on the tomatoes, and I've kept the rest to use on the hugelkultur mound. So I did bring my tripod because I was going to film me actually doing some work, but that might be quite boring. So this is what I'm planning to do. So like I've harvested all the onions here, and I got rid of most of the bindweed here as well. I'm keeping this Jerusalem artichoke here anyway, as it's sort of like an experiment, isn't it? Seeing how well it grows in the hugelkultur mound. Although it's like right at the no, it's not right at the edge of it. It is actually in the hugelkultur mound, just like the pumpkin is. But what I want to do with this, I want to chop off the top surface, because the slope is a little bit too steep, and the top, because it's like mainly clay, is actually worse than clay, because the stuff on the top, that's dried out clay, which is even worse than clay. So what I can do, these cucumbers here, I can move them so that they're slanting over onto this side of the slope, and then I can work on that side, although that side doesn't really need much work doing to it at all. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the baby fork and fork it over, try and maybe chop off the top here, and then do the same here, fork it over with the baby fork, because in some places things might be able to get down to the good stuff that's underneath the hugelkultur mound, but in others, plants might be needing to work through 5 or 6 inches of clay first to get down there. So I want to either reduce the clay or intermingle it. So after I'd work that, I'll probably put plant some tomatoes out here, use the green grass cuttings as a first layer of mulch, and then inevitably put some more wood chip on the top as well. So that's the plan for this evening, but I'm not going to bother filming it. Let me show you a couple of other things. I don't think there's really much to show you. I am actually, so this is the some of the sorghum Sudan grass in these 2 pots, and there as well. So this is like going a bit better. So what I have been doing, which is a bit different for me, is like when I was removing the wood chip, I also turned this soil over, incorporating the existing thin layer of wood chips on the top in underneath, because this soil, this clay, I'm not quite sure you can say it's saturated, because there was actually a worm in it, but it is wet through anyway. So I've turned that over, and the good thing about that is that I could get some remaining pieces of bindweed out at the same time. So I've done that, put another wheelbarrow of wood chip down, and then what I'm planning to do is fork that over and fork that in. And it's like just like a two square meters of ground here, and then I'll probably put the sorghum Sudan grass here, because like it's all surrounded, or it's half surrounded by Jerusalem artichokes anyway. So something small, low level might not actually like this, but we'll see how the sorghum Sudan grass grows there. So I've been doing a bit else in other places as well. So I dug this over and then put either 1 or 2 wheelbarrows of wood chip down there. So these are the tomatoes that I'll be planting onto the hugelkultur mound later this evening. They're not dead yet. Some of them have actually got tomatoes, red tomatoes on them. The purple salsify is starting to have new flowers again. So it's having a second crop of flowers, having a second go at it. And maybe a second go at growing some leaves, although that's not very good. So I don't know whether this is a perennial or what, so we'll see how it goes. So that Ron Denise courgette, that'll get harvested next week. The Cape Gooseberry, the physalis, that's not really doing anything. It's grown a little bit. And I was thinking it was bushing out. Oh, that's bloody just bindweed at the bottom rather than bushing out, and that's just a weed as well. But right, so next year when I grow these, I'll definitely just have them in the polytunnel all the time. I was just planting them out here, A, because I wanted something in the ground here, and B, just as an experiment to see what would happen. Well, I thought I saw some more bindweed. There it is. Right, so I've harvested both of the main marrows here. So that one there, that won't be ready till about a week Monday. But then I don't really want another one until then anyway. This radish plant's quite fun. It takes up a lot of space. Oh yeah, Keith was interested in having some of these Turkish orange aubergines, but I said most of these are rotten because they've been eaten by things. But what I am planning to do is cut them off and then put some plants down the side there, so they're like within Keith's grasp. See whether he wants any. And I don't know whether in the other places around here I'll mainly be, I've only got 2 choices really. I can either put tomatoes here or I can put the sorghum Sudan grass. This is mainly wood chip here with this stuff thrown on top of it, and this was the stuff that was growing over here. I don't know what it was, but it does have like little seed pods like peas, so I'm presuming it's some kind of legume, but I don't know what. I only know a few little things, don't I? Most of things that exist, I don't know anything about them. These two pumpkins here, these were actually quite good when I planted them, but that one sort of like died a death. But now it's now got lots of growth coming from here, and this one used to be worse than that one, but now this one is quite green, so that's been interesting. I haven't really got anything else to say about the state of the plot, except, oh yeah, this other, because it's like nearly August and I'm not really going to be getting much out of in terms of crops. What I am going to be doing, I'm going to be digging this wood chip, or what it really is. It's pine needles or pine leaves. So it's still quite green. So I think it must probably still got quite a bit of nitrogen in it rather than just being carbon. So I'm going to be digging this in, just like I'm planning to do over there and over there, because this clay soil, there's places, we're in the middle of summer, and there's some places in my plot that are soaked through with moisture. So you put the spade in and it's soft. And even though we've actually had quite a bit of rain over the last couple of weeks, I'm not quite sure it should be like drenched through, because there's other places in the plots, particularly near the grass edges, where it is actually quite dry. Okay, so that's enough of me rambling. I'll go and have a look at the wood chip pile, because that's like a habit of mine. And when I come back, I'll crack open an energy drink and start doing some work. Okay, see ya.